Pull up, and welcome back. Welcome back, Health Light family. Can you imagine a person measuring or diagnosing emotion as a health issue or a health problem? Can human emotion be measured scientifically? According to psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, mental health counselors, life coach counselors, yes, emotion is a part of health and it manifests very differently. And I do agree. I'm going to touch on one thing, just one part of what I'm speaking about. This brokenness. Brokenness is something that occurs typically during early childhood years when you're not able to even manifest and understand or communicate with the world outside of you other than those who are in your surroundings as adults. Brokenness also, again, it can manifest where it pushes you and drives you and propels you to do excess of plenty things. Again, this has nothing to do with one's financial success in life. It has more to do with the human emotion of brokenness. Sometimes individuals, they may overeat and they become overeaters because of brokenness, because of that human emotion as explained earlier. This typically may occur more profoundly during the childhood years. I remember as a child growing up in Jamaica, I lived up in the mountains with your luscious trees, waterfall, river, just basically the most scenic place anyone could desire being. However, I was traveling between two grandparents, one in the more country environment up in the mountains. We were poor, but you don't know that as a child because your main drive as a child or your main world as a child is the caregivers in your environment. I was shuttled between one grandparent in the country, St. Mary, to another there in Portland. So here it is, I'm a kid going back and forth. Now, what occurred in my situation is this. My sister Denise, she had all of the magnitude expressions, or let's just say the more profound expressions of looking Indian. The long, silky, beautiful hair, I did not have that. The certain features, etc., etc. In other words, if I was with the people who are Indian, they would say I'm black. And if I was with people that were black in my family, they would say that I'm Indian. So I'm in a whatever. But my sister Denise, that was her appearance. Now, as a child, I recall that she got most of the attention. Everybody was around her. Everybody catered to her. Everything was all about her. Because of certain feelings, certainly any child, especially if you have a sibling, you're going to have different feelings about your own self, about your own perspective, where you might in your head believe that you have certain shortcomings. Because I looked at the situation, I said, it's not that I'm tall, it's not that I'm short, it's not that I'm fatter, it's not that... You're looking at all the reasons as to why is it the other sibling is getting much more attention. But it's still, the fact remains is that emotion of brokenness does occur. In my case, it manifested in overeating, being overweight, and all the contributing health factors surrounding a situation like my own. I want to make it very clear. Brokenness does not stop you from being a progressive person. However, the emotion could affect one in their adulthood when it comes to certain decision-making process. That is important, so keep that in mind. There's a book, and it's by KHAY Shepard. She's an author. She's a holistic professional, and she's a certified Reiki master. And she's also brought awareness to domestic issues. She resides in New York City area, and she practices and counsels on personal power awareness. The book that I'm speaking about is called Authentically Rich. The first chapter begins with brokenness, and it takes you through a variety of steps to understanding, to knowing. And in fact, one can actually have this book and actually read the book and come to their own understanding about what is happening to them, or if anything is happening to them at all. So this book, Authentically Rich, it is about rebuilding the foundations. KHAY Shepard, I'm hopeful that I could get her here at the Health Light to actually come on the Health Light and discuss and communicate what this is all about. Because as I said earlier, she is a personal and she is a life coach counselor, and she does Zoom for anybody around in the world. So it doesn't really matter that she's in New York. You could be in the Caribbean, you could be in Europe, you could be in another state. It really doesn't matter. She provides that with her Zoom. If you care that you would like to know more, do that. Again, I'm going to try my best to get her on this Health Light. Let me finish. Rebuilding the foundation, starting with the past and changing one's own perception from childhood. This is from her book, The Outside. Is now a challenge that can be met and mastered. This is about the author, about KHAY Shepard. KHAY Shepard walks you via her own experiences, preparing you, the reader, to be victorious in your journey. The goal is to be the continual work as a creation of beauty in the human experience. KHAY Shepard's book, the author KHAY Shepard's book, Authentically Rich, brings you closer and closer and more in depth beyond brokenness to a place where one can actually, again, read on their own. All this information and what you're looking at on the screen is a picture of her book. Until the next time, here at Your Health Light.